Hi students, welcome to MERN Project Development Lab session. So far we have practiced how to design a MERN Full Stack project, how to set up development environment and how to initialize the MERN Full Stack project, and we have created a simple website application. And in exercise 2 we discuss about how to we practiced how to implement user interface design for the application theme using a Tailwind CSS framework, and we created a client server project structure for the MERN full stack, right? So next we move on to the database integration part. So that is exercise 3. So in exercise 3 we are going to discuss about how to integrate MongoDB database as a backend database for storing the data. MongoDB is a NoSQL database where the data will be stored in JSON structure, JSON format, JavaScript object notation format, similar to dictionary in Python programming. Okay, so it is actually more scalable and it is more open source, and we have a cloud-based database option is also available. Okay, so when we talk about MERN means MongoDB, Express.js, React, Node.js. So MongoDB is the major role, plays a major role for storing and maintaining data in MERN full stack development, full stack applications. Okay, so using this exercise you will be learning how to integrate MongoDB database and how to write APIs for storing the data from client side to server side. Okay, so the question is, you have to first all of you might have designed the interface for the form for the allotted application themes, right? So using Tailwind CSS. So we are going to continue from that. So first you need to open the project which you have created so far. That is for example, assume that this is my full stack development project demo app. Here we have a client folder. We have a server program using Express.js. I have created a server code, and some of the code I have deleted. That is actually not required much and for this exercise. So this much code is enough for creating a server code, and in the client we have created a React program codes in the source. App.js6 is the main program where we will be adding user interface component like this, we discuss registration form, how to integrate in the app.jsx, right? Right. So in the exercise 2 you might have created registration form component like this, import React component and from React. Okay, so it is a functional component. We can write a function name same as the file name, register form.jsx, right? So this function return a page. It returns a HTML page. So here I have designed a sample registration form to collect name, email and phone number and location from the user. So when I click the sign up button, I want to store this data in a MongoDB database. That is our objective for this exercise 3. Okay, the objective of exercise 3 is to store data in MongoDB. Okay, so let's see the steps. First we need to make sure that the MongoDB server is installed in your system. Okay, and we need two software. One is MongoDB community server, that is one software. Another software is MongoDB Compass, which is an interface tool for working with the MongoDB database. Here you can search MongoDB in your system like MongoDB Compass. You have to open MongoDB Compass. So this is a MongoDB interface you will get. Okay, MongoDB Compass interface, and here you can see the URL localhost 27017. So this is the database URL we have to connect. Okay, so let's do the configuration. Actually this is actually This is only needed for Mac OS. Actually, in Windows operating system, this process is not needed. You can the MongoDB canvas will automatically start. In Mac OS, actually, we have to do this starting. Okay, so once you do that, you can check whether MongoDB canvas is working by double clicking this localhost connect. Okay, you have to connect this database. Okay, so just you have to open MongoDB canvas and you have to connect the database, and just you can minimize this database. Okay, now we are going to work on in this React project and the full stack project. First, actually I have created a client interface. So first what I can do is, let's execute this project. So we'll go to this terminal window. Save this, and we can move to the server folder, and we can start the server npm run dev. So server started, we can add one more terminal, and we can start the client. Okay, so we have to start the client, and you will get this URL. This and all we have discussed in the you practiced in the first and second exercise. Okay, so in first exercise, second exercise, we have integrated Tailwind CSS to design this text boxes and this online registration form. And look at this, how I have integrated Tailwind CSS. For example, background white. Okay, BG white for background, and if you want to change the font bold, you can use font-bold. It's very simple. You can just you follow the instruction given in the exercise 2 material, and you have to design a form. Okay, you have to design a form, and this is a HTML form, and the output look like this, right, in the previous page. Okay, so this is the output. Okay, so for this exercise, what is the objective is, when we enter some data from here in this form, how to store the data in the in MongoDB. So let's do the coding quickly, and here first we need to open the server terminal. We have to go to the server terminal, and the server terminal we can open, and we can delete this terminal. We can create a new terminal and move on to server, and we want to do database interaction coding. So we need a special module called Mongoose module. So we have to install Mongoose module. Okay, so here I have installed 120 packages. Okay, so from Mongoose module. So now first, this is the first step. We have to install Mongoose module. Then after installation, you will get like this, and step by step procedure also I have given. Okay, the next is we are going to create a database called company. Company is the database name, and under company database we are going to store the list of users. Okay, so first the next step is, after installing Mongoose module, the next step is we have to create a schema structure and the model for the data you want to store, schema structure. Okay, so what I am going to do is, I want to collect 4 data from the interface. For example, from this interface, so here you can see name, email ID, phone number, location. So these are the data I want to store in MongoDB, right? So what I can do is, I can first, after checking this Mongoose module, after installing, let's open the server folder. First we are going to work on the server folder from the project. Remaining all you can close it. In the server folder, we have to create a new file for creating a schema structure for storing a user detail. Okay, so the new file is called user.js. Okay, so here we have to include the Mongoose module. So once you include Mongoose module, we can create a schema structure for the user schema. We can create a schema is equal to new Mongoose dot schema. Within bracket we have to prepare the schema. So prepare the schema is the data, what is the data you are going to store and what is the data type. So data name colon the data type is string. Then email ID also is another data, the data type is string. Then I want to store phone number, so we can use a number. There is a JavaScript data type called number. Then location we want to store, so we can use location colon, as that is also string. Okay, so now the schema is ready. Using the schema we can prepare the user model. Okay, we can prepare user model. So user model is equal to a new Mongoose model function we have to use. In that we have to pass the table name. Actually in MongoDB the table is called as collection. So here we have to give the name of the table we want to create under company database. So the name of the table is, let us assume that users. Okay, small letter also you can use. Okay, this table should be created based on this schema. Okay, so now I have created this particular model. I want to export this model. So we have to write one more code called module dot export is equal to the particular module name. Okay, the module you want to export. Okay, so now we can save this this particular user.js file, and this is a schema structure I want to prepare, I want to create in a database. Okay, now let's go to the server.js file. Here we can write the remaining code. The remaining code is nothing but, the first thing is we need to include Mongoose module. Here also we have to include Mongoose module using require Mongoose. The next is we have to include the user model is equal to, we can require, we already created this user module in current directory under user. Okay, in the current directory user.js, this module we can include like this. Okay, right. So now using this model we can store data. Okay, so that is the purpose of including that particular schema. Okay, so now we can connect to the database. So we can connect to MongoDB. So that code is actually we can use mongoose.connect function. Inside you have to use MongoDB protocol, then 127.0.0.1 colon there is a port number is actually 1 minute. In the database we have to check the port number 27017. So this is a port number, we can write 27017, then slash which database you want to create, for example company. Okay, just as in I'm going to write like this. Okay, so if it is successfully connected, we can display the a successful message in the console window using a lambda expression. We can write console.log if it is success. Okay, we are writing a promise function db connected. Okay. The next is if it is if there is any error, we can catch the error by using this catch block. Okay, so in catch block we have to catch the error object and we can display the error in the log. Okay, so the database connection part is completed. Okay, the next step is we have to create, the next step is after the next step you have to write after this express. Okay, otherwise I think it's good to write here everything, there is no confusion. Okay, so this is the order you have to follow. Okay, first you need to create express object, should be created in the beginning itself. Okay, then now after connecting this particular database, so now we have to write the very important concept called we have to prepare the REST API calls. Okay, so that is called we have to create a server API. Okay, we have to create server API route to store user data. Okay, so for that we have to use app.post. We have to use app.post. Within bracket we have to use we have to use the URL. For example, this URL pattern is /register. Okay, so /register we have to use. Okay, so app.register app.post, you have to use the URL pattern. Then we need to use request and response object, the lambda expression, the function. Okay, so inside how will you store the data? We can store the data using user.model.save. Okay, so there is a function called creates, user model dot create function. Inside we can get all the form data. Okay, actually the form is available in client side src, this register form, right? All these form data we are going to collect and we are going to send to this particular server only. Okay, so that data we can get using request.body. Okay, so we can store the data, and if the data is stored successfully, we can write the success callback, that is promise function success callback. In that we can generate a response using a JSON format. We can send data to the client, data saved successfully. Okay, and if there is any error, we can catch the error by using catch function. Again that same code. If there is any error, we can display the error also. We can also send the error to the client. Okay, using response.json function, we can pass this error message. Okay, so now this is called a server REST API, actually server API route. Okay, API route for storing data. Okay, for storing data. Like this we can write so many server APIs. Okay, right, it's clear. So this server API we have prepared, and it is actually given in the server.js. Okay, so once it is done, we can execute this server program again, and we can check whether it is working or not properly, and we can call npm run dev. If there is any error, we have to correct it. Model constructor must be a POJO string model constructor. Okay, 1 minute. So here maybe this is a small letter. 1 minute. It is a small letter. Okay, it's not a cap letter. Okay, so again we can try. Open new terminal and cd server npm run. So now it is actually running properly, and we want to check whether the data is stored or not. For that there is one app you can download from internet for checking APIs. Okay, so next step is we are going to test server API using a tool called Postman. Postman is a tool used for testing full stack in full stack app development. Various API we will be writing. So every API we have to test separately whether it is working or not, right? So we can download this Postman tool and we can check whether it is working or not. Okay, so look like this, and this is actually you have to download this. I have already downloaded, so quickly I will open this Postman app, and I'll show you that okay, we need to log in. Okay, right, it's working. So now we have to click this new, and here you can, since we are using post function inside the here, you can see in the server we are using post. Okay, since we are using post, we have to select post method, and here you have to paste the comment, paste the URL, okay, the API root. Actually it is register, right? Register under the port number 9000, okay. So the URL will be localhost colon 9000 slash register, okay. And data we have to send in a body part, okay. Data we have to send in the body part as a raw data we have to send. So we can, 1 minute. Okay, we have to click body and raw, select raw data. Here we have to send the data. So data you can prepare by using double quotes. The name, for name, what name you want to store. For example, John. Okay. For email ID, what data you want to store. Okay. Here everything is double quotes. Don't use single quotes. In JSON does not support single quote. Okay. So you have to use double quotes for string data, and phone number is actually mentioned as number, so we can give a number directly, and location is some place we can give, for example Coimbatore. Okay, so now it is this is the data I want to pass to this API for testing. Okay, so if the API URL is correct, if the data is correct, we can check by click send button. Okay, now look at this. When I click send button, we are getting the response, data saved successfully. So we are getting response, and we have to verify in the database also. Open the database, and here we can, there is a refresh database is there. When you refresh, you can see there is a database is created company. Under company we have a collections called users, and when I click collection, the user collection, you can see John at Gmail. This through Postman, whatever data we have passed to this API is already stored. Okay, it is stored successfully. Okay, so it means that our server is working properly, and now we can pass the data from the React client app to this server using this particular API URL. This is the API URL we want to use to send data this in a JSON format. Okay, so we can ensure that data will be stored successfully because we have checked the backend is working fine. So now again I will minimize this MongoDB. Now the client side, server side is over, so we can I'll just show you the code properly. We have included Mongoose user model included, connected, we are connecting the database and writing server API route for storing the data. Okay, so that is done. So we can go for client. Okay, now we can go for client. In the client we have to go for app.jsx. In app.jsx we created register form, right? So we have to go to register form. So in register form only we are going to pass the data to the the server side program. Okay, so let's write the code for that. So here we have to use there is a module called Axios module we have to import first. Import Axios module from Axios. Okay. Okay. So this module is used for accessing the API, server APIs. Okay. To access server API we need this module, already we discussed in the previous exercise. Okay. So now next quickly we'll configure this registration form. So in the registration form, first is actually we need to create certain variables for storing this name, email ID. So we have to create certain variables using the square bracket. First is name, and for setting the value we have to prepare one function using like this use state. Okay. Then next similarly we need to create another variable for email and set email. This is also use state. Within bracket we have to give empty value. Initial value is empty. Okay, so I'll copy this and I'll paste 2, 3 data. Okay, so the next is actually we need to create a variable for phone number, is actually another data set phone, right? And I think this is actually not needed. This particular string is not needed. Okay, by default it will automatically predict the data type when we enter the data in the form. Okay, right. So that's all. Now email, set email is there, and we have to prepare location and set location is a function. The last one is status of this form submission we can display using this variable. We can track and we can display. So we created this variable. Now we'll go to the form and we can write we have to write a form event handling. We have to write, okay, in the form event handling we have to write on submit. Okay, on submit is equal to we have to prepare one function called handle submit. Handle submit is a name of the function. This handle submit, the function I have to write separately. Handle submit is equal to that lambda expression, one variable called e, that is a event object you have to take, and you have to prepare a function. So inside this function only we are going to send the data. Okay, so we are going to send the data to the server side. Okay, so how to write is actually first one is we have to prevent the previous default form submission. We have to prevent. Okay, otherwise the default form submission will taking place, so that we have to prevent. And then we have to use Axios module dot post, and you have to write http://localhost colon 9000/register. So this is a URL we are going to use for storing the data, and comma after this URL we have to put a comma and pass the data one by one: name, email, and phone number and location. Okay, right. So like this we can call the, I'll just make it full screen. So like this we can call the API. If the API is successful, we can receive the status of this message. The status we can receive like this, and we can store in a status set status function and pass the result data dot data, and if there is any error we can catch the error also, and that error we can catch, and that is also we can display in the status, right. So now so this is actually how the form submission is taking place. Okay, now what is this name, email, phone number, these variables, how these variables will be get initialized. Okay, so these variables should be accessed from the text box. So we have created a text box using input tag. Input here, name input tag is there, another email, another is phone number, the next is location, right. So every input tag we have to go and we have to write, there is a event called on change. Okay, in on change you have to write an arrow function. Okay, you have to prepare one arrow function with the event. Okay, so this is the arrow function, and in the event what you have to do is you have to call set name, and you have to write e dot target dot value. Okay, so this is a code you have to write. So set name is used to set the name of this this variable. Okay, this particular variable will be initialized whatever user type in the text box. Okay, whatever user type in the text box will be automatically initialized to that particular variable. So the same thing you have to do it for all the input box, but using different set function. So this is set email. Okay, this is set email, and the another one is set phone. Okay, just you have to change the function alone, and the next one is set location. Okay, The next is set location, and right. So now we got the data will be stored in the particular use state variable. Okay. Now status is already we have set here. Okay, set status is already done here, and the next last one is the status message we have to display in a we have to display after the button. Okay, so here we have button is there. Okay, and we can create one div tag, and we can display some color like text green. This is a Tailwind CS you have to practice, and some margin also we can give, margin top 4. Okay, so inside we have to display the status of the date form submission. Status will be stored in this variable. Status will be stored in this variable. From this variable, how to store the data, how to display. For that, we have to use this expression tag. Okay, angle the brace, curly brace you have to use. Inside curly brace you have to type status. Okay, so that status will be displayed in green color. Okay, so this is what happening when we do the form submission. Okay, so now already server is running and it is properly configured already. Now we have to run the client once again. Okay, so we can start the client, go to the terminal, and we can cd client and start the client and go to the link. Right, so we'll try the we'll test with some other data. So already I have stored john at gmail.com. Next I am going to store one more data called David. Okay, and David at gmail.com and 88 location. Now it is Chennai. Okay, now when I click submit button, look at this, I am getting a status message, data saved successfully from the server program. Right, look at this, from server program only we are sending a JSON data saved successfully after writing in the database. Look at this, user model is a database API. Okay, using that we are creating a new row, new collection in MongoDB. Okay, so next we have to open the MongoDB canvas and we have to refresh this. When you refresh this particular collection using this symbol, you can see David at gmail.com is saved successfully. Okay, so like this we can store many data. We can in the interface we can not this interface, and we can, for example, one more data I'll store called vmax. Okay, and we'll write vmax at gmail.com. Okay, okay, some other place. Okay, so data saved successfully, and we can come back and refresh the page. Look at this, the data is stored. You will get a unique ID for every row, and version number also will be getting. Okay, for every collection, for every document, JSON document. Actually in MongoDB this data is called as JSON document. Okay, every document you'll get automatically, you'll get on unique ID and version. Okay, so like this we can integrate MongoDB in MERN Full Stack development, and here you can see how we can configure the server program. Okay, this is a user model and this is a server program. Okay, and we have to work only in these 3 files only, register form files. In register form files we have to use Axios module and create variables. So this is a way we can create variables. Why we are using this way is it comes with the setter methods also. Set name is a function we can call later to assign value for this name variable. Okay, like that you have to understand. Okay, set it is a setter functions. Okay, for these variables. Okay, so we are calling that function here, where from the input box, when we type data, on change will be triggered. When we type data, on change function will be triggered, and the data will be accessed by target e dot target dot value. The data we are assigning to that particular variable using set name. Okay, so the same thing you have to follow for all other text boxes. Okay, now in the button, actually in the button is that look at this button. So this is actually very important. The button should be type is equal to submit, otherwise it won't work. Okay, the button type should be submit. Okay, so that's all about how to integrate a data MongoDB database as a backend database for storing data in MERN Full Stack application project. Thank you all.